Hello YouTubes, I've been a bit busy playing with all my new locos and been kind of neglecting all my older stuff that needs a bit of TLC. So today we're going to have a go at repairing this because it currently runs like this. I believe this is a GP40 and it came in one of the many boxes that John Dawson gifted to me a few months ago. And it could be an early Bachman Spectrum, but we won't know till we get inside. So let us dive in. Right then, we have a screw holding on this cover here. And hopefully when I remove this, there will be access to two screws holding the shell on. It's also the weight. This is quite different. Normally there's a plastic cover over the weight, but this is actually a textured paint over the weight. Okay, we don't have screws holding it on. So what do we have? We do have one screw up there. There's no screws there. So not really sure how this shell is staying on. Let's remove that little screw right there. Surely that's not the only screw holding the shell on. Seems to be quite tight. Now I don't like to pull on these things too much because they like to snap off. Ask me how I know. There doesn't appear to be anything else holding this on. Let's give that a little leverage. Careful, careful. I was just checking to see if this part of the body comes away, but it looks like it's moulded to the sides. I think everything comes off all the way down to this red plastic. But at the moment, I'm kind of stuck. Oh, just pull the sides out a little bit. Yeah, there's a big clip there, do you see that? Which must hook into the inside of that. Okay, I don't think it's a Spectrum. I think if it was a Spectrum, it would have a circuit board on the top with a socket for a DCC decoder. Not the end of the world. Now, to get the trucks out, it's pretty easy. You've got a big pin there that goes all the way through to the other side. Slide that out, the truck drops away. Really nice design. So the big one at the front, that is very dry and quite dirty. We will clean that in a sec. The rear is very similar, but the pin is a fair bit smaller. Push that through there. Pull that out. Drop that down. I'll show you how these work in a second. Oh, I can tell straight away there's a problem with that. What else have we got? We've got a little grounding wire there for some reason. So, by the looks of it, you've got power pickup from one side of the rail that goes to probably there, and the other side of the rail goes from there and there. And those little tabs there on the underside of the truck, well, it's the top of the truck, but you know what I mean, they make contact with the underside of the body. They will connect to there for one side and there for the other side of the rails. Pretty neat, no wires other than this interesting little wire here, which is obviously the grounding wire. So let us remove this part here. Silver section goes all the way across the top. 4 screws. Now, I didn't desperately have to remove this, but I do like to see what's going on underneath to see if there's anything obvious. Everything actually looks okay in there, although can hear that clunking about. So it's just a bit dry in there, which could be causing a bit of that noise. But I don't think I need to remove the motor. I think it's okay. Downside with this type of motor, you can't really get inside to... Oh, I tell a lie. I was going to say I couldn't get in to clean the commutator, but I think I could remove this. Remove these little things here for the brushes and get into the commutator in there. I think that's what I might do. I don't want to disturb this wire at the moment if I don't have to. So let me think about that, see if I'm going to get into this a bit deeper. Meanwhile, I'll move this aside and we'll clean these trucks. Now, before I clean these trucks, I'm going to put the gloves on because I'm going to be using isopropyl alcohol, Q-tips. I just don't fancy getting dirty today. Let me put these on. Ready for surgery. As I say, very dry, quite dirty. Let's see how we get into these. Looks like there's a cover holding on the wheels. Don't worry, that gear's supposed to fall out. Might as well check it for breakages, missing teeth, etc. It looks okay. Right, we need to get a screwdriver or some levering device in that gap there or that gap there. Carefully, because these will be getting brittle in the road edge. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. The axles have got metal gears on them, which could also be contributing to the noise. And huge amounts of fluff, which isn't going to help. So let me take these apart. I'll do them one at a time so that I don't put the wrong parts in the wrong places. And they actually clip into that truck, which is nice. Ooh, interesting. Catchword of the day is interesting. Do you see that wheel there? It's actually not clipped into its... The rim isn't clipped into the wheel properly. So that needs to get pushed out there. Wow, that has not been in place for a long time. There we go. That should help it run straight as well. Just a little bit more. It's a little bit buckled, but it's better than it was. And obviously we need to check all our... It's a little bit close. That's fine. Right, so I will clean the wheels. Ah, look, we're actually missing... No, we're not. I was going to say we're missing one of these, but it's one on each side. Now this whole thing comes apart. So I'll clean all that, clean all the gears, check for cracks, lube everything up, clean these connections, make sure they're pointing up the way because they have to make contact with the underside of the shell or the underside of the body. And I'll bring you back when we're ready to reinstall everything as everything runs away from me. Okay, let's clean. So everything's cleaned up. I didn't see any cracks in the gears. The axles, they all look fine. I mean, they've got metal gears in them, so I think we're going to be okay there. Plastic gears don't have any problems either. So let us reassemble. One gear in there. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to put a little drip of oil while I've got access into these little holes here. One there and one there, just a drop. Axle in there for spinning. I mean, gear in there for spinning. One in there. We can get our other side on now. Again, just a dribble of oil on the tip of that one, tip of that one. Put it together. Spinning, spinning, very nice. What's left? This gear can go in last because it's not really held in with anything other than that metal shaft. So we don't put that gear in until we're reassembling it, or we don't have to. But we can put our wheels on. Make sure they go on the inside of those metal contacts. And they do clip in, which is nice. One there. One there. Clipped in. Right, so we just need to add some lube on all those nice dry gears. I'm going to be fairly liberal with this grease because the metal can easily chew up the plastic gears. I really don't know the thought behind using plastic gears with metal gears. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because obviously the metal gears are just going to destroy plastic, especially when they're that dry. Spread the lube around. Add a wee bit more. All seems good. So we can put our cover back on. Let's see, is it the same both sides? I always have this problem. I think it's the same both sides on this particular model. Get one side in first. Clip in the other. There we go. So we've made sure that they're nice and clean, pointing up the way. All our contacts are brushing against the wheels nicely. He's ready to reinstall. So I will carry on. I'll put that gear in there for now so we don't lose it. I'll carry on, clean this one, which is exactly the same as that one, and then we will be ready to reinstall. Actually quite straightforward, this one. See you in a minute. Right, that's my two trucks all cleaned and lubed, and what I did was I added a bit of grease at the sides of this gear because it is going to vibrate left and right a little bit, so hopefully that will help stop any noise coming from those gears. Right, time to reassemble onto the chassis, except I was going to do something with the chassis, wasn't I? I was going to take this motor apart, but you know what? I don't want to do that today. So I think what we'll do instead is maybe just put a little bit of grease. I think this just kind of slides out. So I think I'll put a little bit of grease where the metal meets the plastic. Again, just to stop any hopefully stop any vibration going from the plastic to the metal of the motor. It is important that this motor goes the right way round. If you turn it round the other way like that, it will run in reverse. You know what? While it's out, let's clean that little pad there, because that is the main pickup for the ground side of the motor. No harm since we've removed the motor anyway. Okay. And then we've got these annoying couplers to get back in. Ugh. This is going to be tricky. I know this from experience. It's just an awkward little design. Because there's like two moving parts there. You've got the drive shaft there with that annoying intermediate bit there, which just gets held in with love and affection. Okay, let's try that then. Now I've forgotten which way round that was. Oh well, guess we'll find out. Hopefully I didn't rotate it. No biggie. If it drives in reverse, we can easily take the motor back out, put it in the right way round. Just a little squidge of oil in there. I mean grease. Okay, so that's back in. Well, we've got the grease out. Let's put some in these metal worm gears. Lovely. And we've also got access to some other spinny things. And I'm going to put a drip of oil. Oh, I just pulled the motor out. What are the chances? The one thing I shouldn't lift it by, I'll lift it by. And have to do this again. What a pain. Okay, don't lift it by the motor. Lift it by, oh, I did it again. Lift it by the sides of the chassis. I'm always lifting it so I can show you what I'm oiling. I'm going to oil in there and in there, where the shaft goes through. Drip there, there and there. At the back. And finally some grease. Oh, I already did the grease in there, so I think we're good to reinstall. Motor, hopefully the motor's in the right way round. This goes over the top. Make sure that gets tucked underneath. That bar there has to make contact with the top. Okay. Okay, so we've got 4 screws to go in there. I'm going to remove these now because my hands are all sweaty. Lovely. You know what? It's a relatively easy loco to work on. Get the wee bulb back in there, even though I will be replacing these with LEDs, if it behaves. And now we can get our trucks back in. Now this could be another, this is similar to the Athearn in that they will go either that way, and also that way or that way. However, it's going to make a difference. It might run backwards if it goes that way compared to that way. We'll see, we'll find out. So, rear one, slots in there. Oh, I'll tell you what we can do. Also, while we're here, give those contacts a bit of a clean. Because that's where we're picking up the power coming from the trucks themselves. Lovely. So, rear truck goes in there. Those brass contacts make contact with them. The smaller of the pins slides through there, which both holds it in and goes through that gear. It's a strange setup, but hey, that's how they've done it. Nothing else holding these pins in except the body. So the body, the pins can't go beyond the body, and it's wider at this point, hence the longer pin. Pin through all the way. And that's that complete. We just stick the body on and off we go to the races, hopefully. Let's take it over to the track, find out if we've improved anything or made it much worse. Okay, who spotted the intentional mistake? To see if you were paying attention. This bar here, this actually has to make contact with that silver bar, and I had it pointing up the way. What a noob. What a noob. Let us try that again. Get you in there. And the usual struggle with the little drive shafts. Come on. Wiggle it. There we go. Right, get this back on, screw it down. See the track. Let's see how it performs now. And it's nice and smooth, but I can still hear noise. Maybe it just needs running for a wee while. It's not cutting out like it did before. Let's try backwards. Ugh. I'm having flashbacks to another Bachman that I repaired a while ago. It was also quite noisy. I think it was just a bad design. Anyway, let's give it a run round, see if it gets a bit quieter. I mean, it's smooth enough, but a wee bit noisy. I think all these new locos I've had recently have just spoiled me. But as I say, we'll give it a while. I'll run it round for a good 20 minutes and see if it gets any better. Or I could just turn the stereo up nice and loud, and we'll never know. If you have any experience and got some tips on how I can make this run quieter, let me know. It's that design. You'll probably recognise it if you've worked on one. I've got a feeling it's one of the early Bachmans where they changed from just the single motor to the all-wheel pickup, all-wheel drive thing. Great design, but it's really noisy and I cannot figure out. I've lubed everything. I put tape in the inside of the shell for those pins so that they don't vibrate against the shell itself. It's still noisy. Anyway, I'll hook it up to some freight, give it its victory lap, whatever that means, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll be a bit more successful next week. Bye for now.